Bart's in Jail is the brilliant second episode of the 33rd season of The Simpsons. This is directed by Stephen Dean Moore, and I am thrilled to find that this has 7.0 out of 10 on IMDb across 927 reviews and ratings. This is a big turnaround from the previous episode. I loved the previous episode, but apparently not many people did. But this episode, delightfully, has been very well received, and I'm so glad, partly because I also enjoyed it, but because I think it's so important. Bart's in jail. It's not the narrative I was expecting, and I will have to spoil it to explain it. I say it's a spoiler, it's actually something that's revealed within like the first couple of minutes, and it's what the entire episode is about. So technically it's not a spoiler, but based purely on the title, which is all I had going into this, I didn't expect this. So from now, the only thing I'm going to spoil is what the episode is actually about. And it's not about Bart being in jail. Grandpa receives a phone call saying that Bart's in jail. Grandpa has to wire some money to get Bart out of jail. And he does it. And then he's driving along and sees Bart playing soccer, I think. And Bart realizes Grandpa's been scammed. And the rest of the episode is about scams, and it shows how different characters have fallen for different kinds of scams. And I think it did a great job of very creatively highlighting the different ways that people try and scam you, phishing scams, things like that. And I just completely applaud it because it's so important. Most of us would, I believe, say, no, I wouldn't fall for that scam. But at the end of the day, they're getting increasingly clever, and it's quite scary. And the episode is so important. If it stops even one person, if it makes one person think twice before they send money to somebody, it's done an amazing thing. And I'd like to think, given the reach that The Simpsons has, it would stop more than one person from falling for a scam. But I love the fact that it wasn't just about Grandpa either, but other characters who'd fallen for different kinds of scams. And I love that, because I think it helps to show that not only is it easy to fall for these scams, but they come in all kinds of shapes and sizes, and there are so many different tricks, and that people of all nature can fall for these scams. And I absolutely applaud it. It's done it in a way that's very entertaining, very well written, very well animated, of course, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I also loved the ending, and I'll discuss that in a moment with a spoiler warning, because it took me by surprise. It's a really great episode. It tackles a really important topic, but in a way that's got a lot of comedy in it, of course. It is a bit emotional to begin with when it's kind of revealed that Grandpa was the victim of this scam, and, you know, he's an older individual. It's not like he's got a whole pile of money to just throw away, or indeed that, you know, he's not working and getting more money. He can't really replace that. And there's also the fact that Grandpa very clearly felt defeated by the fact that he'd fallen for this. He felt ashamed. That very clearly came across, and I think that that's very realistic. We hear of that. We hear of people, not just older individuals, but people in general falling for scams, and how it makes them just feel awful. And this really came across, and that was really hard to watch. But as I said, there is a lot of comedy in it as well that makes it very entertaining and very memorable. So all round, I think Bart's in Jail is a very surprising, very entertaining, but very important episode. So I'll discuss the ending now very briefly. This is the last thing that I have to say, so spoilers from now. At the end of the episode, Marge lends somebody $20 for, I think, gas, if I remember rightly. And there's this moment where she realises that from now on, because she's learned about scams, she won't trust anybody. She won't trust that that person will give her that money back. But she gives them the money and tells them, I trust you. And then it seems like she was getting the money back. And I thought, you know, there's your evidence that people can be trusted. And then we realised a moment later that no, actually it was Grandpa who gave her the money without her realising. And I had a moment's thought of, oh, okay, so we can't trust people. But then my thoughts very quickly went to, okay, but look what Grandpa Simpson has just done for Marge. And I got a little bit emotional because it was so sweet and so lovely, and he did this to help her restore her faith in humanity. Bearing in mind, he's just wired thousands of dollars in this scam, but he was still willing to give this $20 to Marge to restore her faith, and I thought it was beautiful. Trying to not get emotional. It's a really great episode. Bart's in jail is, well, I was going to say the second episode in a brilliant season. So far, I'm loving season 33, only 2 episodes in. I don't know how the rest of the season is going to go, but if it's anything like this, definitely going to be in for a very big treat.